At an altitude of over 40,000 feet, the woman suddenly fainted due to oxygen deprivation. Her body plummeted downward, and finally, she was left hanging in the high air by the safety rope. Her hands were frozen stiff. Her companion had already fallen into a coma. She had to save herself, then wrapped her legs around the rope, swung her body, used the inertia, and clung tightly to the basket rope. She made it back to the basket, but the crisis was far from over. They were at 40,000 feet above the ground, and the hot air balloon was still ascending. The exhaust valve was covered with ice, unable to be opened. The woman had no other choice but to start climbing the hot air balloon with her bare hands. Suddenly, severe oxygen deprivation hit her, and drowsiness overwhelmed her. But the sight of her Cumeo's companion jolted her awake instantly. She tied the hanging rope around her waist and climbed upward, step by step. Finally, she climbed to the top of the hot air balloon. She slammed her body against the exhaust valve with all her strength. The ice layer was too thick. The woman slowly stood up, grabbed the rope tightly, and kicked down hard. It worked. She cut her shoelace and wedged the shoe into the valve to prevent it from freezing again. Jazz escaped, and the hot air balloon began to descend. The man woke up from his coma. At that moment, the woman noticed that the snowflakes were actually floating upward. She instantly realized the balloon was descending too fast. She pulled the rope to close the valve, but with a strong tug, the valve was completely torn open. The descending speed became even faster. There was no time to think. The instinct to survive drove them to throw things down continuously, in an attempt to slow down the descent, but it was useless. Suddenly, the man realized that the basket itself was the heaviest part. He told the woman to hold on tight, took out a dagger, and began to cut the ropes on the basket. As they got closer and closer to the ground, he cut the last rope. With one stroke, the hot air balloon separated from the basket, but the descending speed didn't slow down much. The woman made up her mind to sacrifice herself to let the man who had the meteorological data survive. Just as she was about to jump off, the man suddenly thought of a last resort. He told the woman to grip the rope tightly, then cut the inner ropes of the hot air balloon one by one. In an instant, the hot air balloon deflated and contracted, turning into a huge parachute. The descending speed slowed down drastically. The two hugged each other in excitement. As they hurtled toward the forest, they finally landed safely. The monitoring data shared by the man made a significant contribution to future weather forecasting.